Hi there, welcome to my views and news. Getachew Reda, Tigray interim president has announced that he is going to return to Tigray. He escaped from Tigray on Tuesday. If he returns, could that lead to another round of conflict between Getachew supporters and military? What did he say? In his interviews, in his press talks today, he talked on several issues. He mentioned some important points, and most of the points he raised won't be appreciated in Tigray, it seems. Meanwhile, Tigray Peace and Security Office issued a statement as well. Let's have a look at this statement first. Then Getachew's announcement to return to Tigray. When will he return? Tigray Peace and Security Bureau issued a statement, which is basically Tigray military. And in this statement, the Bureau opposed any external intervention in Tigray. We saw that Getachew called for support from federal government, support for international government to stop his government from being dismantled. Though in an interview later he denied, he said he had not called for any military intervention from federal government. He said that only a regional assembly can request federal government to intervene. Tigray has no regional assembly. He said that he chaired several cabinet meetings and he never called for federal government's intervention. But we know that he asked the federal government to support him militarily or through other forms. Federal government did not listen to him. TPLF issued a statement, the Bratskian group. It rejected the idea of intervention of any external party. External means federal government, international community, etc. Tigray military took the same position in the statement issued by Peace and Security Bureau of Tigray, saying that any external intervention will be useless and unacceptable. While both Tigray military and Tibetan are opposing the intervention of federal government in the form of military intervention, it's very now difficult for federal government to intervene in Tigray militarily. Federal government can use other tactics to put pressure upon the parties in Tigray. It can stop funding for Tigray government. It can use federal institutions to isolate TPLF and Tigray military. But Tigray military does not want any ENDF entry in Tigray firstly. Getachew Reda has announced that he is going to return to Tigray. On Tuesday, he escaped from Tigray. He took a flight of Ethiopian Airlines. From Mekelle, he went to Addis Ababa. He's in Addis Ababa now at Sheraton Hotel, I think. And in an interview with the BBC, he said today that he came to Addis Ababa at the request of or at the invitation of Ethiopian PM. He claimed as if he did not flee Tigray, that Abiy asked him to come to Addis Ababa. And he announced to return. He said sometime next week he will return to Tigray. That's a big announcement, by the way. His return seems very unlikely, keeping in view that Mekelle is now fully under the Bratskian group control, military supporting the Bratskian group. How will he return? Will he be allowed to return to Tigray next week? That remains to be seen. I think before the start of or before the end of next week, we'll see several developments. TPLF leaders, TDF channels are in Addis Ababa. Talks ongoing between federal government officials and Tigray ruling elite. Federal government does not want to start a new war in Tigray at this point of time. It cannot afford a war. Why? Because federal forces fighting in neighboring Amhara region. Uh, Relations with Eritrea are very tense. Somalia needs more Ethiopian military support, keeping in view Al-Shabaab's offensive towards Mogadishu. Sudan, civil war ongoing. South Sudan on the verge of civil war. All Ethiopian borders unsafe. So we cannot afford a new war at this point of time. His focus maybe is on Red Sea, not on Tigray. Uh, but he would like the instability in Tigray to continue, because if TPLF is strengthened, if TPLF and TDF are strengthened, they could be a threat to Addis Ababa in near future as well. So what will he do? That remains to be seen. He is not going to order ENDF to enter Tigray. I don't think ENDF is interested in entering Tigray as well. Jula-led military saw what happened in Tigray during the war. Military not interested. Abiy not interested as well. What will Getachew do? This is the question. Getachew wants PM Abiy's backing in the form of military support, in the form of some sort of support. I think that Abiy would agree to appoint Varede as the interim president. That's my analysis, and based on some talks with some sources in Addis Ababa. Debrecen is not acceptable to Abiy. Varede is acceptable. This is what I have heard from Addis Ababa. Varede could be the next interim president. Varede is acceptable to Debrecen too. But is he acceptable to Getachew Reda? Getachew is in hot waters now. He was expecting support from federal government. He was played by Abiy. If he returns to Tigray and starts mobilizing, organizing his support base, that could lead to start of an internal conflict in Tigray. I don't think Tigray military, TPLF will allow him to mobilize his people in southern Tigray, southeastern Tigray. What will he do if he returns to Tigray next week? That remains to be seen. But so far he's saying he will return. In an interview today, he raised some very important questions, some very important issues. He raised the issue of independence of Tigray. He ruled out the possibility of it. Secondly, he talked about DDR. He said there is one Ethiopian military. There should be only militias and police in regions. So he proposed complete dismantlement of Tigray forces. These two points, the position which Gacho took about these 2 points, is not going to be well received in Tigray. Yes, military has become controversial. Still, when you call for complete dismantlement of Tigray military, Tigrayans don't want that. Majority of Tigrayans. And yes, some Tigrayans, diaspora, they still have this longing for independent Tigray country. Getachew opposed the idea. He criticized TPLF and he criticized channels as well. But he needs to be careful. The way he is confused, he could lose support, whatever support he has in Tigray. He claims to be having 90, 80% support in Tigray, which is very exaggerated. I don't think 90% of Tigrayans support him. So his claim is a very tall claim. Let's see, will he return to Tigray next week or not? But talks ongoing in Addis Ababa. I think in the next 48 hours, you could hear some big announcement from Addis Ababa about Tigray. Thank you for watching.